For me, showing up and being seen today is really telling everybody in this room how it really is for me. Besides what I present on social media and besides what I decide to present to the world and how the media reflects me. What really happened is just under a year ago is I got a call from my business partner who I actually got while I was in the hospital bed. At that point, I was desperate for investment, as you can imagine. And I got a call saying, you didn't hit your Q2 targets. We're pulling funding from your company, from the Joga House. Understanding that that funding was to support a 5-year strategic business plan. It's a lot of funding. I had 5 days to figure out how I was going to make $65,000 to cover my overhead. And so in true Jana fashion, I dug my heels in and was like, I can do this. I'll figure it out. Well, I tried. I had, enough money to last me until last October, and then I had to let go of all my staff. And then in January, I had to decide to close the Joga House down. Yep. And what I learned through all this is that the whole time, that business partner that I had, was actually trying to get me out of the company. They were trying to scare me out of my own company. Anyways, long story short, not a long story short, I have such limited time here, but I closed my house, the Joga House, in May of this year. I still have my Joga World business and my athlete business, but the Joga House is closed. This year also, my best friend was killed September 2nd last year. She's a mom of 3. And then just 3 months ago, my other close friend took his life. And so this is the conversation that I'm having today with all of you. The second part of vulnerability is about asking for what you need. I need to unlift. I need to take the weight off of my shoulders. I can't keep up to this person that I used to be. The Jana Webb who went 24/7, flew around the world, super mom, super this, yes to everything, red carpets, you name it. I was trying so hard. But the truth of the matter is I just can't do it anymore. I'm not well enough to do it. The third thing about being vulnerable is about talking about how you're feeling without making this like a psychotherapy session. I'm pissed off. Last year I was in survival mode and I was grateful to be alive. But now I'm angry because somebody chose to drink and get in a cement truck and drive down a highway and hit me at 120 kilometers an hour. So I'm angry now. And the reason I'm angry is because I'm plagued with this brain injury. I'm nervous to stand up here because for me to even find words is challenging. I live with chronic pain. I wake up every day and I don't know what kind of day I'm going to have. Like, brain injury is a real thing. The bright lights make me nauseous. Like, I have to choose so diligently on how I spend my energy every single day. And then the last part that I'm resentful for is I've worked 43 years of my life to build myself and my business up and me up. And that was dismantled in like 3 seconds. And so I do hold some resentment, right? I've never been gifted anything. I've worked for everything that I've ever earned. And then the last part about being vulnerable is to have the hard conversations. And the first conversation I had to have before presenting today was with myself. And I was like, are you okay to get up on that stage and tell everybody how you really are? And I wasn't at first because it's easier for me to just keep the image going of who I thought I should be. Right? And the second conversation I had to have was with my son. Like, I can't do the things with my son that I used to do. He's like my buddy. We play basketball together. We run, we trampoline, we play. I can't drive him to hockey. Right? And then with my boyfriend. So part of having a brain injury is combativeness. And he has become my punching bag, literally. Like, it has gotten to that. And when you have a brain injury, there's this thing called rage that comes with it. And sometimes I feel like I'm a boiling pot of water with a tight lid on it. And all that undercurrent eventually explodes. And he gets the end stick of that. And then the last conversation I had was with my family. They've supported me my whole time, and I don't ever want to stress anybody out. I never want to be like, oh, like, don't feel sorry for me, because that's not the type of person I am. I'm always like strong and inspiring and motivating everybody else, including my family. And then the hardest conversation was the one here today with all of you. And the reason this is the hard conversation is because when I wake up in the morning on my Instagram feed, I get these kinds of messages. Thank you so much for being strong, because of you, I got through my day-to-day. Like, these are the messages I wake up to, so I feel obligated to remain in this role of inspiration. But what I'm asking from you is that, can I still be in this role of inspiration from a place of authenticity and transparency and full vulnerability, essentially, can I do it from a place of love? Thank you. Right? We are all leaders. And so if we could understand how we could unveil ourselves and each and every one of us take our mask off and be a little bit more vulnerable, create space for love, how does this impact the ecosystems of which we have impact on every single day, right? So whether it's our homes, our families, our businesses, whatever it is, we have that impact, right? And so again, I went on the internet and I looked at vulnerability and leadership and all these different points came up. But for me, what this means is if we lead from love, if we create space from love, we create inclusiveness, we create conversations, real conversations, we create opportunities to create and innovate, right? We create so many great things if we just open our hearts and not have the ego to be right all the time. Aren't you exhausted, right? Like, it's tiring, right? And so if everyone just, I guess my ask today is that if we could all just, because I know every person in here wears a mask. Every one of us, as we're here at a leadership event, we try to do it all. And we try to do it all very good all of the time, right? So maybe there's moments in your day-to-day, when you leave here today, as Jillian was talking about, that you could take off your mask, be a little bit more vulnerable, open your heart, and lead from a space of love.